OJ Simpson was directly responsible for the cancellation of Gargoyles, the animated TV show in the 90s, and the reason why is weirder than you can even imagine. So Gargoyles premiered in 1994, and it was surprisingly successful considering that it had a much darker tone than most other Disney Channel animated series, and also it relied on a continuing storyline from episode to episode rather than self-contained stories per episode like most animated series at the time were. So with how successful the show was, they wanted to go bigger with the storyline in season 2, so they did something very experimental. They produced 56 full episodes of the show rather than the usual 24, and they decided to run an episode every single day for the whole season rather than weekly. So fans were going to get this much more involved and in-depth and complex storyline that went way deeper than season 1. However, unfortunately, what they weren't expecting is that at the time of the premiere of season 2 of Gargoyles, the OJ Simpson trial was just getting underway. And the O.J. Simpson trial tapped into the cultural zeitgeist more than any other murder trial or really any other news story had ever done before it. Coverage of the trial was must-see TV, and every syndicated TV station across the country knew that showing that coverage equaled massive ratings. So every TV station across the country would take any opportunity to show as much live coverage from the trial as possible, and they would preempt anything that was playing on the station at the time to show that live coverage. And what ultimately ended up happening was that Gargoyles Season 2 happened to be in a time slot that was constantly being preempted by the trial. So for a big chunk of Season 2 of Gargoyles, people just weren't able to watch the episodes because they kept being preempted by the O.J. Simpson trial. So it's already bad enough that your show keeps getting preempted in its time slot by a murder trial and people just can't watch it. But also, at the time, Gargoyles was trying out an experimental format with an incredibly complex storyline that you wouldn't be able to follow if you missed even a couple of episodes. So ultimately what ended up happening was people just didn't know what the hell was going on in the show because they missed all the episodes. And according to Greg Wiseman, the creator of Gargoyles, in a 2020 interview he did with Polygon, this was a major factor in why the show ultimately got canceled. There were other smaller factors he cited, like budget cuts and other shows dominating in their time slots, but he largely attributes the cancellation of the show to the O.J. Simpson trial. The show was ultimately given a final third season with a shortened episode order of 13, a way lighter tone, and reverting to a more episodic storyline format after the failure of the season 2 experiment, but it never recovered in the ratings and it was canceled. O.J. Simpson recently passed away, and to say the least, he's left a complicated legacy, but most people don't know this part of it.